let's tell you a little about what Donald Trump has said as far as tariffs are concerned. Tariffs on China to be 47% from 57%. Essentially, it's a 10% decline and 10% cut that Trump is offering. Purchases of soybean will start immediately. Agreed that Xi Jinping will work very hard to stop fentanyl. I wouldn't say everything was discussed. Trump has spoken about his meeting with Xi Jinping and what was discussed as far as the way forward is concerned. We did discuss chips. They will be talking to Nivida and others about taking chips. We are, in fact, going to get in more details on that, but this is the preliminary information we have as far as Donald Trump's statement on what was discussed with his Chinese counterpart is concerned. The wrap-up talks on trade and tariffs is what we know at this point in time, and these are the details that we have with us. We don't know yet if there's been some sort of a formal agreement just yet. However, the US president did speak with the reporters and describe the meeting as amazing. Outstanding group of decisions were made. What we do know that there would be, China will begin, in fact, buying soybeans immediately. He was going to work very hard to stop the flow, Trump said, when asked a question on fentanyl. Also, the US president added that he had dropped tariffs on China related to fentanyl from 20% to 10%. Trump met Xi Jinping, cutting China tariff by 10%. Tariffs on China to be now at 47% from 57%. Rare earth issue settled with China, says Donald Trump. Xi Jinping agreed to stop fentanyl. Handshake pat on the back, and a tariff cut is what we can tell our viewers right here about. The meeting in South Korea. This meeting was held. They did have a bilateral in Busan is what we know. In fact, while speaking to reporters, he spoke about the fact that some discussions have been done and the outcomes, he said, were amazing. As far as the tariffs are concerned, the cut is at about 10% from 57% to 47%. The duration of this meeting was 1 hour and 40 minutes. Issues of friction have been discussed and agreed upon. And what has been revealed by Donald Trump is as follows, talking about the fact that the meeting was good. There's been a discussion on tariffs. There's been a cut on fentanyl, saying that Xi has agreed to work very hard on stopping fentanyl. Also, what we do know is that the rare earth issue has been settled, is what Trump has said. While speaking with reporters, tariffs have been cut to 47% from the previous 57%. Trump and Xi actually are meeting for the first time in 6 years, as the world has been keenly watching where the crippling trade war will go next. A decline or a cut of 10% in the tariff rates. This meeting, landmark in every sense of the word, may be resetting the volatile relationship between both the nations. Clearly the world's two largest economies and rival superpowers. Listening to what Donald Trump said earlier about his Chinese counterpart.
Good to see you again.
Me too.
And we're going to have a very successful meeting, I have no doubt. But he's a very tough negotiator. That's not good. We know each other well.
Mr. President, do you plan to sign a trade deal today?
Could be. I think we'll have a great understanding. We have a great relationship. We've always had a great relationship.
Please start buying U.S. soybeans again?
I'm going to go straight across to my colleague from Business Today. Karishma is with us for the very latest. Karishma, at least some revelation from Donald Trump's side on cutting down of tariffs on China, and some other discussions like the rare earth mineral discussion has been, in fact, we believe, sorted, is what Trump has indicated. What are you picking up here?
Good to see you again. 很高兴在这里见到黑明。我也是。Meet you. And we're going to have a very successful meeting. I have no doubt.
我
Well, important developments coming in. In fact, Donald Trump had said that tariffs from China will now be 47% down from 57%. His meeting with Xi Jinping is definitely coming in as some positive on that note, especially on the fact that how rare earth metals exports will also be now taken up. Clearly, his ASEAN visit seems to be have worked out for China, which will also in a way be beneficial for us now.
Will absolutely be with us, Karishma. I'll come back to you, bringing in a word from Geeta Mohan, a foreign affairs editor as well. A keenly watched meeting, Geeta, and some discussions that have taken place. Of course, this has the potential really in a way to reset the ties, between the world's largest economies and also rival superpowers. But indications that some dust has settled as far as the issue of tariffs is concerned. What else are you picking up?
Well, like we were pointing out earlier during our coverage that there was no signing of a deal, but yes, they've made a forward movement or headway in the trade talks. The fact that Trump has announced he'll be going to China in April, and that they're working out together on with Xi on Ukraine to get something done. Forward movement. I was saying that moving Russia away from China, moving China away from Russia is not on the table. It certainly is not. But working together towards getting some forward movement on the Russia-Ukraine war could be on the table. This also comes with Xi coming to the table with their own concerns when it comes to Taiwan and China, and that certainly was on the table. Conversations on major concerns that Xi Jinping had said during his initial remarks that concerns that are to do with China will also be discussed with President Trump. President Trump called Xi Jinping a tough negotiator, but a man who he has good relations with, and that they are going to work things out. A leadership level intervention is required when things go or take a real downward spiral, and that's exactly what this meeting was all about, bringing the talks on track. It does seem like there is something in the offing when it comes to a framework to get a trade deal done, but right now, there is no trade deal that has been announced. We are awaiting details of what comes of that entire meeting that took place between President Xi Jinping and President Donald Trump.
That's right. Also, Geeta talked to us about the various areas of friction that both the countries have been trying to, in a way, navigate through, Apart from fentanyl, also rare minerals is something that was up for discussion. The rare earth issue, which Trump says has now been settled.
Well, yes, there are many aspects and areas that did come up for discussion. First and foremost is the tariff. After the imposition of tariffs, what China did is what is America's greatest weakness today. That is, close the tap on the rare earth exports to America. Not only did China stop rare earth export to China to America, they also stopped other countries, including conversations with India, to stop any product that includes or involves rare earths that they get from China to the United States of America. That was a major squeeze on Donald Trump, and Donald Trump had to come to the talking table. But yes, we are looking at maybe a one-year deal with China on rare earths, which is what some websites are talking about. And if that were the case, then yes, we will be looking at tariffs coming down when it comes to China. But the talks have concluded. Just ahead of the talks, Neha, President Trump had posted about testing their nuclear weapons. That was a massive statement to China that the supremacy of America will not be ignored, and that there is the nuclear supremacy that is paramount to America at a time when we are looking at China, North Korea, Russia, all of them testing their nuclear weapons. America is ahead, but he said China could come up to that level sooner than later, and therefore it's time for America to restart testing. Remember, this is in a very, very long time, America has not tested nuclear. And to announce that and say that he's going to instruct his Department of War, erstwhile Department of Defense, to look at nuclear testing was a major statement coming ahead of the meeting between President Trump and President Xi Jinping. For now, the focus again had to be trade, because that certainly has impacted America and American economy a lot. And rare earth was a specific discussion that had to take place. The president going or traveling, or a decision and an announcement of his travels to China in April itself is a major announcement, which means forward movement. We'll have to wait and see what the details of this meeting entail.
Right, Geeta, be with us. I'm just going to come back to you in a moment from now. We'll listen in to what the American president said earlier today.
Mr. President, you care a lot about world peace, and you are very enthusiastic about settling various regional hotspot issues. I appreciate your great contribution to the recent conclusion of the
Right,
Gaza
in fact,
ceasefire.
we'll just listen in to what Trump said in conversation with Xi Jinping.
Left out there, and we've come to conclusion on many very important points, and we'll be handing that to you in a little while. We're having, because there was a lot of different things, many of them very important. We're in agreement on so many elements, large amounts, tremendous amounts of the soybeans and other farm products are going to be purchased immediately, starting immediately. If you notice, President Xi authorized yesterday for China to start, did you know that, right? China to start buying in very large quantities of soybeans and other things, which I appreciated. That was a very nice gesture.
Mr. President.
I thought it was an amazing meeting. He's a great leader of a very powerful, very strong country, China. And what can I say? It was an outstanding group of decisions, I think, that was made. A lot of decisions were made, too. There wasn't too much left out there. And we've come to conclusion on many very important points, and we'll be handing that to you in a little while. We're having, because there was a lot of different things, many of them very important. We're in agreement on so many elements, large amounts, tremendous amounts of the soybeans and other farm products are going to be purchased immediately, starting immediately. If you notice, President Xi authorized yesterday for China to start, did you know that, right? China to start buying in very large quantities of soybeans and other things, which I appreciated. That was a very nice gesture.
Mr. President.
I thought it was an amazing meeting.
All right, so you heard there from US President Donald Trump that these are details that we have with us, which are gradually trickling in as far as that significant meeting is concerned. I'll try and go back, in fact, to Geeta if she continues to be with us. But remember, the world was closely watching for the two leaders to stabilize the country's rather fractious relationship during this meeting. Listening to what Trump said.
There was a lot of different things, many of them very important. We're in agreement on so many elements, large amounts, tremendous amounts of the soybeans and other farm products are going to be purchased immediately, starting immediately. If you notice, President Xi authorized yesterday for China to start, did you know that, right? China to start buying in very large quantities of soybeans and other things, which I appreciated. That was a very nice gesture.
Mr. President.
I thought it was an amazing meeting. He's a great leader of a very powerful, very strong country, China. And what can I say? It it was an outstanding group of decisions, I think, that was made. A lot of decisions were made, too. There wasn't too much left out there. And we've come to conclusion on many very important points, and we'll be handing that to you in a little while. We're having, because there was a lot of different things, many of them very important. We're in agreement on so many elements, large amounts, tremendous amounts of the soybeans and other farm products are going to be purchased immediately, starting immediately. If you notice, President Xi authorized yesterday for China to start, did you know that, right? China to start buying in very large quantities of soybeans and other things, which I appreciated. That was a very nice gesture.
Mr. President.
I thought it was an amazing meeting. He's a great leader of a very powerful